Hello and welcome to today's Flipped Classroom video. In class, we have been learning that two parts make a whole. If you look at my cubes, I have a whole of 8. If I take away one part, we need to figure out what the missing part is. In class tomorrow, you're going to see many problems where you have the whole and you have one part and you need to figure out what the missing part is. What could we put with my 5 cubes to get 8? I'm going to teach you 3 different strategies that you can use to find a missing part. For this picture, I'm going to count on. One of my parts is 5. Remember, my whole is 8. Let's see how many cubes we need to get to 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. My missing part is 3. Let's try it with a part whole mat. In this picture, I see that my whole is 7. I'm going to tell you that one of my parts is 5. Now we need to figure out the missing part. What number would go in this space? One of the ways I can figure this out is by using counters. I'm going to put 7 counters in my whole because my whole is my sum. My whole is my bigger number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I already know that one of my parts is 5. So what I'm going to do is drag 5 counters into this part of my part whole mat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know that 2 parts make a whole. Those parts are called addends, and when we combine our addends, we get our sum. I know that my sum, or my whole, or my biggest number is 7. I know that I pulled 5 down into one of my parts, so the rest of my counters must need to go into my other part. 1, 2. So the missing number for my part whole mat is the number 2. Another strategy we can use to figure out missing part is a number line. I'm going to use the same numbers for this part whole mat. My whole is 7, my big number. One of my parts is going to be 5. I need to figure out what my missing part is. Here's how I can use my number line to figure that out. I'm going to put one finger on the number 7, since I know that the number 7 is my whole. I'm going to use circles to show you where to put your finger. I know that one of my parts is 5, so I'm going to put another circle on 5. That's where you can put your other finger. I'm going to use the strategy of hopping or jumping to see how many hops or jumps it takes me to get to the number 7. If one of my parts is 5, I need 1, 2 more jumps to get to the number 7. So my missing part must be the number 2. The last strategy we are going to use is to use our fingers. I'm going to start with my whole as the number 7 again. One of my parts is 5. Here's how I can use my fingers. If I know I already have 5, I can count on until I get to 7, and then I can see how many fingers I put up. So in my head, I'm going to think 5, since that's the part I already know, 6, 7. And to get to the number 7, which is my whole, I needed to put up 2 more fingers. So my missing part must be the number 2. The three strategies you can use to find missing part are fingers, number line, or counters. Let's try with this one. If I gave you a part whole mat with the number 9 as the whole, there are lots of different ways that you can make the number 9. You could put an 8 in one part and a 1 in the other part. You could put a 9 in one part and 0 in another part. But I'm going to tell you that there are 6 in one part. Now you need to figure out what is the missing number that you would put in this part. You could use your fingers to figure this out. Remember that when you use your fingers, you count on from the part you already have until you get to your whole. The part I already have is 6. I can count on to get to the number 9 and see how many fingers I put up. Another way you could do this is by using a number line. If I were going to use my number line, I would start at the number 6, since that is the part I already have, and count how many hops it would take me to get to the number 9, since that is my whole. Lastly, you could use counters to figure out what your missing part is. You might not have counters at home, so you could use Cheerios or pennies from Mom or any small piece that you could count. You would need to start with the number 9, slide 6 away since that's the part you already know, and then figure out what you have left as your missing part. On your homework sheet, I would like you to answer the question, what is the missing part in this part whole mat? You can use any of the strategies we talked about on this video. If you need to pause the video to figure out the answer, that is fine. If you would like to watch the video again to get a reminder of the different strategies, that's fine too. When you know the answer for your homework sheet, please write what number would we put right here on our part whole mat. We'll talk more about this in class tomorrow. Have a good night.